Dear Southern Cameroonians, fellow citizens of the free world, brave international fighters for freedom, democracy, and the protection of human rights. My name is John Bakuro, and I come today to talk specifically to my brothers and sisters and the brave warriors of our liberation movement about some very important thing called unity of purpose. Today, my focus on unity of purpose is not an error. It is not by chance. I think sincerely that we need to go down the lanes of our memories and look back at other struggles, look back at other liberation movements that happened before ours. And then we ask ourselves how the people succeeded, how the people made it, even though they were most of the time in disparate ranks. At no time in history do we find any peoples that ever were so united that they did things without having disagreements among themselves. But all the same, they managed to succeed. They were able to find at least the silver, the silver lining in the dark clouds of disagreements that too often could put them at loggerheads. And it is that silver lining that I like to call on the people of the Southern Cameroons to join me in searching. We need to seek that silver lining. Once we see it, put our fingers on it and adopt it, I am convinced that we will be able to refocus our collective quest for freedom, to refocus our collective quest to take back our country and install a functional democracy hinged on the rule of law and the protection of human rights, where the human life will be redignified, where our people will find reason to live again. My dear brothers and sisters of the Southern Cameroons, I'm going to, in the course of this conversation, quote from authors, from great men and women who have marked the world, but who recognize that at every given point, humanity would have really made no sense at all if the notion of unity of purpose was not embraced. I like to first of all point out what is this whole thing even called unity of purpose. In just one little line, you'll grasp what that is. Unity of purpose means everyone has the same purpose or aim, even if they are, in disparate ranks, even if they are in different spheres, even if they actually belong to different shades of, political or public opinion. But what they have in common is that they have the same purpose or the same aim. Now, that said, I like us to, visit one great author. And this great author is someone who stood up to speak at a time when the United States of America was faced with very difficult moments. And I'm talking here of Harry S. Truman. He said, "We must earn the peace we seek, just as we earned victory in the war, not by wishful thinking, but by realistic effort. At no time in our history has unity among our people been so vital as it is at the present time. Unity of purpose, unity of effort, and unity of spirit are essential to accomplish the task before us." Someone listening on the territory of the Southern Cameroons, looking at what is happening to us at this specific point in time, looking at the carnage, looking at the unfolding genocide, will tell themselves that no, this person speaking is not Harry Truman, that this person speaking should be some Southern Cameroonian somewhere addressing the people on what exactly needs to be done now, because the context is exactly so suiting to what is happening in our country, to what is happening to our people. But unfortunately, while the carnage, the genocide is unfolding, we are out here tearing ourselves because of political ideology, tearing ourselves because of group identity, tearing ourselves because we have decided that it is important to believe in leaders and not to believe in the liberation movement, tearing ourselves because we have even started sharing the elephant before it is killed. My dear brothers and sisters, while all of that is happening, let us recognize that we will only be able to overcome the monster before us, because this monster has a lot of tentacles. You have France that is behind the scene, pulling all the strings. You have a lot of international public relation firms that are also behind the scene, pulling the strings and all whatnot, trying to confuse world leaders, trying to confuse the powers that are supposed to come in to promote right. My dear brothers and sisters, while all of this is going on, the only thing that can enable us to sail through this very turbid water, this very dirty waters, to sail through this very stormy moments, will be at least unity of purpose, which means we can as well continue to believe in the various groupings that we believe in. We can as well continue to swear by the various leaders we have decided that we are swearing in. We can as well continue to have the political ideologies that we are having. But one thing we must discontinue, one thing we must stop doing, is turning our fire against each other, is attacking each other. Let us all recognize that we have one and only one oppressor, and that oppressor is the Republic of Cameroon. If we tend to focus all our attention only on the Republic of Cameroon, the results will embarrass all of us. And there is evidence. I'm going to bring that evidence just as we move on. But just before I get there, let me get back to some of these big people, some of these international figures that remind us on the importance of unity of purpose. Even for colossus, for countries that you call colossus, they at some moment still need this unity of purpose to navigate through difficult moments. That is how the former US President Barack Obama said at the time he was taking over the reins of the United States of America, torn, apart completely by a lot of disagreements, especially with a raging recession marked by loss of jobs, foreclosures, and all kinds of trouble. He said, on this day, we gather because we have chosen hope over fear, unity of purpose over conflict and discord. Now, take a look at that. What did they desire to do? You have Republicans, you have Democrats, and you have those who are even non-aligned. But one important thing took the attention of everyone: fighting the recession, bringing back the jobs to America, making sure that the people of the United States of America continue to believe in what they call the American dream. That was the unity of purpose. If you don't identify the unity of purpose, you will not be able to overcome. And this is the same America today, talking more about prosperity, talking more about the jobs being created in droves, talking more about the unemployment levels being at an all-time low. This is because unity of purpose prevailed. Although they had disagreements, although they had too many things that could divide them, they recognized that while we have our differences, there is one thing we all agree on: that we must fight recession. We must make sure we begin to create jobs again. We must make sure we protect what is American. We must make sure we continue to give meaning to the American dream. What will we, the people of the Southern Cameroon, say? That we should first of all leave the very noble fight we are leading for total freedom, for total self-determination for our people, and go ahead to rather tear ourselves. That is not our unity of purpose. Our unity of purpose is making sure we do everything that we need to do to get the powers that be, to get the international community to see the need to run to our rescue, to save lives, to save the lives of our people that are being taken in tens, in 20s, in 30s, sometimes in hundreds by the day. Now, there was a time in the United States of America when the black man, almost faced what they called collective annihilation. The degree of humiliation and enslavement was exactly what we are witnessing in the Southern Cameroons. The black man at that time, from what I read in history, seemed not even to have been recognized as a full-blown man. But my dear people, while they were fighting, Martin Luther King Jr. had a different philosophy. His philosophy was different from that of Malcolm X, but they all had one objective: that of making sure the black man in America is treated with dignity. And at that time, this is what Malcolm X said. We do not condemn the preachers as an individual, but we condemn what they teach. We urge that the preachers teach the truth, to teach our people the one important guiding rule of conduct: unity of purpose. Just listen to that. That was Malcolm X speaking at the time, urging even the preachers, urging every other person that no matter the differences we have in ideology and all whatnot, teach our people the most important guiding principle, which is unity of purpose. Without unity of purpose, we will waste our time. Without unity of purpose, we will tear ourselves apart until we get completely annihilated. We will not attain our objective if we don't really take and inculcate into us the notion of unity of purpose. I'd like you also again to share this other one from Jane Addams. He says, in 1,000 voices singing the Hallelujah chorus in Handel's Messiah, it is possible to distinguish the leading voices, but the differences of training and cultivation between them and the voices in the chorus are lost in the unity of purpose and in the fact that they are all human voices lifted by a high motive. Now, you see, despite the differences, despite the fact that among this you have some who are experts, extremely trained, so well trained. There are some of them who are geniuses and all or not. But then there is the chorus, the masses, the people who have no form of training, who are just, from all walks of life like that. But you see, when all these voices are put together under what you call the unity of purpose, there is magic that occurs. So no matter our levels of education, no matter our levels of exposure, no matter our financial state, my dear brothers and sisters of the Southern Cameroons, we need one thing that should bind us: unity of purpose. Let us look in the same direction and we will be able to attain the objective we so badly seek. We seek freedom. We seek self-determination. We seek independence. We want our children to be treated with dignity. We want our children to have the opportunity to be taught in the language they can understand best. We want our people to be treated in their law courts following the legal system they have adopted right from the moment of independence. We want our people, we want our graduates not to come out of schools to be job seekers, rather we want them to come out and be job creators. But the only way we get to that is to recognize our unity of purpose. This message addresses specifically to those who have taken up the arduous challenge to be activists in our liberation movement. To be an activist means you are out there sacrificing your everything for the cause of humanity. But an activist who devotes his or her platform only to attack other people who are on the same side with them, those or that activist has lost total focus, has lost that notion of the unity of purpose that we require to propel us forward. If we do not take the challenge now and learn from these enlightened individuals I am quoting here, we will have ourselves to blame. Because I remember Martin Luther King Jr. said, we either bond ourselves together and fight together like one man, or we will all die together as fools. Now, this is what another very great man, Mahatma Gandhi, says. Unity, to be real, must stand the severest strain without breaking. Some people will say, oh, we have tried that unity of purpose so many times, we have tried that unity several times, but it has not worked. If it has not worked, it is because we were not sincere. It is because we had not understood that it is only that unity of purpose that will take us forward. That is why anytime we have tried it, it could not stand the test of time. The most important thing we need to note is take into consideration what Stevie Wonder says. He says, what I'm not confused about is the world needing much more love, no hate, no prejudice, no bigotry, and more unity, peace, and understanding. Period. This is clear and unambiguous. Very clear, and it is absolutely unambiguous. Now we take the last person on this slot. That's Ralph Waldo Emerson. He says the reason why the world lacks unity and lies broken and in heaps is because man is disunited with himself. And that is the story of us, the people of the Southern Cameroons. We're in tatters, we're in heaps, we're in confusion because we are disunited with ourselves. That is why we are unable to raise the funds necessary to enable those foot soldiers, to enable our people who are on ground zero sacrificing their lives to be able to keep the resistance. This is why we are unable to bring ourselves to understand that the best way to function is to agree to a common mechanism that enables us raise and manage funds to make this liberation movement strong, to let the world see that we have traction, that we have direction, that we know where we are heading to. Because we are in tatters, because we are broken. The only reason the Republic of Cameroon with Mr. Paul Biya continue to hope and believe that they can subdue us, that they can overcome us, that they will defeat us at war is because they see us in disparate ranks. It's because they know that they just need the least drop in our midst, tap, and we all pick it up, we'll light the fire, and we start screaming, this one is going to attack that one. That one wants to kill the other one. That one wants to take over power. That one wants to be the only cock to crow. And with that one, they sit back and they watch us destroy ourselves. And so they tell themselves, we have a big shot. They tell themselves, there is an opportunity. Let us keep on. With time, they will get completely divided, so divided that they will never be able to heal again. And then they help us in that direction. That is why Eli Smith could say very easily that they don't need to bother anymore because he has personally even contributed at a very high level in this liberation movement, touching right from the level of leadership to everywhere, setting confusion here and there, and he's convinced. That is why he's now taken his position at the Prime Minister's office so peacefully, and he tells himself, just watch and see how they continue that personal strife while we weed them out of the surface of the earth. Shall we allow that to happen? This is why I decide to end with David Denotaris, who says, our focus is our future, and what we focus on will multiply in our life. If we focus on being positive in everything we do, positive towards one another, our differences notwithstanding, we will witness a serious turnaround. That is the purpose of this communication. And I have some pieces of evidence to bring here. Look at what happened in Gabo. Almost every Southern Cameroonian was at least agreed and united on the fact that we needed to let the world know who was at the origin of this. And that because we had tip-off that the government of Cameroon was trying to, play around it and claim that the self-defense volunteers were at the origin of this, we all went out, like one man, and made sure we carried out a huge sensitization campaign. And trust me, we won. Because the truth is now here. We saw Betty Joseph Assomo, the Minister of Defense of that country, coming out and now trying to attribute those killings to, those burnings alive. He's now trying to attribute them to what he called a mistake, collateral damage. The same thing he did when he was also caught pants down with the incidents at Mile 8 in Mancon. My dear people, because of those relentless efforts, because of that focus, because of that unity of purpose, the media outlets that fell for money to embrace manipulations, preferring wealth to human lives, they are now on their own. Because the stories that they publish claiming and attributing these acts to people other than those who actually committed it, and evidence is flying all over the place and now on their own to start telling the world what they think. If you look at it, the international media, rights organizations, and even the Secretary General of the United Nations that have been caught by inertia all this time have at least come out to say something. But the international media and rights organizations are now unequivocal. They know who was at the origin of those acts. They know who perpetrated those acts, and they are not shy in saying it. This is as a result of our unity of purpose in pushing this message across. As I round up this communication, I like that when you listen to this, when you listen to me, whether you like me or you don't like me, it doesn't matter. Share this message as widely as you can. Go for what I say if you consider it correct. Don't bother about who I am. Care about what this message can bring. Care about what will happen to us if we all adhere to the principle of fostering the unity of purpose. If we all decide to go positive, if we all decide to shun all these manipulations, this infighting, this mudslinging, and all of those things, and focus on our purpose, which is seeking freedom for the people of the Southern Cameroons, which is ensuring that our people are treated with dignity, which is guaranteeing that tomorrow we have a country where we shall enforce a functional democracy hinged on the respect of the rule of law and the protection of human rights, where our young people will find reason to live again. My dear brothers and sisters, if you share these ideals, share this message as widely as possible. To God and to Him alone be all the glory.